Thanks for being here. So let's begin right off with the hands, the breath. I'm in a position in in which I can get my finger pads to the ground, and I'm choosing thumb forward just for a particular mm, angle or connection through the elbow. So you could go fingertips back. I'm just going fingertips out to the side, thumb forward. And just a very light move at first, connecting to deep Ujjayi breath. Welcome all. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. We're getting started with the hands and the breath. And within the course of 3 or 4 or 5 breaths, maybe the hands and the arms just start to melt. Now, as I'm playing with the hands, feel the hip crease releasing. Feel the area over the bridge of the nose relaxing. And if you're in a cold environment, do this even more softly than you believe I'm describing. This is definitely one of those places you don't want to go into vigorously when the environment's cold. And when we release the hands from the ground, simply relax them, either down on your leg or beside you. Be moving through the, pardon me, the shoulder blade muscles. So inhaling into the upper back. And pause. Gather up the muscles near the top of the shoulder blade. Exhaling, squeeze, condense. Exhale, and then move that condensing muscular motion down. Do it as you're exhaling. You may even be able to increase the condensing action, the squeezing action as you're exhaling. Now release the arms, inhale. All right, get focused now. We're in the heart area, back of heart. Squeezing. Now as you begin your exhale, increase your squeeze. So squeezing, increasing the squeeze because the ribs are moving under that squeeze. And then relax the squeeze. Inhale. Follow that inhale into that area of squeeze, right? Bottom tips. Gather, gather, gather. And now as you're exhaling, increase the squeeze. A deeper squeeze may be available. On one part of it, we relax that. We're preparing the structure thermally, but also we're preparing the structure in terms of the fidelity of our mapping, the the cleanness and the clearness and the fullness of the picture that we have of our body. So to focus in on something simple like a squeeze, and let's turn on to our hands and knees, may seem small, but what if it gives us thousands more points of reference around the heart? Okay. So I'm setting up almost like an embryo. I've got my knees sent way, way back, my hands way forward, and I'm shifting the sit bones back. Really simple. It's a little bit between embryo, which feels very like passive and kind of relying on gravity a lot, and shower, that kind of tractioning the sit bones back. I'm using a little more of that shower, stretching, tractioning action. And now, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths into each of those areas of the shoulder blades that we were just exploring. Inhale into the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And taking another breath into the back of the heart. Of course, this pose is adjusted for your knees, so sitting all the way back is not a requirement. And taking one full deep breath for the very tops of the shoulder blades. When we draw the weight forward, we'll reset the knees under the hips, and we'll set up dolphin. So slide those elbows under shoulders, adjust the hands, push, gliding the shoulders away from the neck. Now, glide may mean a very muscular move, so use those armpit muscles, use those back muscles, pull those shoulders away from the jaw, and on exhale, press the knees off the ground. Hey y'all, glad we're all in. So we're just sliding into dolphin. There we go. Great. All right, and I will take those 3 deep breaths into these back of heart areas. We've basically subdivided the upper back into 3 areas. And that's just so we can offer a deeper degree of care and focus. So 1, let's go to the middle of the heart, the back of the heart. This is where the back, the spine, for most of us tends to round or curve into our environment. That little thoracic curve. So inhaling into that contour of the spine, underneath all of those nerves between the heart and the spine. And feel how breath leaves the back of the spine, the back of the heart rather. There you go. And then we can take a deep carrying breath into the bottom part of the heart. Now we're getting into diaphragm territory. We're getting into those bottom tips of the shoulder blades. We're almost peeking into kidney territory. the low ribs. And let's just go a little bit more toward the top of the heart. So as we get into the top of the heart, we're also in the top of the lung. We're nearer to the collarbone. Deep breath right between the tops of those shoulder blades. And really setting the knees down. All right. And then if you would, sit back and we'll slip into knee pile. This is right knee on top of left. So we just did a whole bunch of things to just feel into the back side of the heart. So we'll bring both elbows in front of each shoulder. Inhaling into the upper back. Now we're going to activate the front of the chest. Exhale, pull, move the shoulders down. So there's some armpit muscles. But engage the chest by squeezing elbow toward elbow. It helps me to imagine that I'm actually grabbing onto some object with my elbows, like so. Now keep those chest muscles engaged. Inhale behind the chest wall, behind those active, engaged chest muscles. And now exhale, and moving the shoulders down, active, engaged chest. And now lift the chest, so chest muscles on, chest lifting. And again, exhaling, chest muscles on, chest lifting. Release. Now switch the cross of the legs. So knee pile or approximately knee pile. Okay. And so just a little definition I'm trying to help us create here. When we get these elbows moving and we're compressing and condensing these chest muscles, instead of it turning us into a kind of like a snail shape, kind of coiling in, we're going to keep lifting the chest up. So let's set those elbows up in front of the shoulders. Inhale into where you feel the collarbone, shoulders, the width of the shoulders. And then exhaling, engage the chest wall, the chest muscles, and lift the chest. Do this twice more. Inhaling into the upper back, into the collar, the tops of the shoulders. Exhale, glide the shoulders down, engage the chest muscles, yet lift the chest muscles up. Lift the chest up, rather. Good. Release, relax. We'll straighten the left leg out. And I want you to decide how you'll have your right leg bent. Half loaded, ankle on ground. So let that right leg be pleasurably set. I'm getting a strap out. And this is for my left hand, to connect to my right bent leg. So some of you will just grab the thigh or the clothing. Perfect. So again, this is my left leg straight, my right leg bent. My left hand is behind back, connected to my right bent leg. Inhale, draw the arm up. So now here, lift the chest muscles on the right side engaged, lifting the chest. Exhaling, the left elbow reaching in the space toward my tail as I fold forward. And I allow the head to relax down, the hand to relax down. Now I let that right hand grab any part of the outer left leg. And I'm grabbing my outer left leg with my right hand, elbow bent. And that way I can just lead that elbow forward. So reminiscent of our flank stretch move that we often do. I'm just letting that right elbow be bent and leading it forward. Neck relaxed. We're going to pull or connect to that outer left leg. Engage the inner left leg. A little counterbalance. And release. Inhale, we'll come up right. When we switch sides, we'll get the shoulder blades doing very different things. On this side. All right, so set the left leg bent the way you like it, half lotus on the ground. Right hand, go behind back, connect to left, bent leg. We got it. So it's the right hand behind the back, yes. Good, inhale. Everyone raise their left hand. It'll help me see. That's our left hand, yes. Exhale, folding forward. So I'm lifting the chest forward. This left hand, grab any aspect of the outer right leg. Okay. So there's a little extra hint of side bend in here. As I lead my left elbow forward, I'm leading my right elbow behind me toward the back edge of my mat. And release. Inhale, let's unwind. And we'll move to standing. So in terms of breath and abdominals, this Agnisara is about all that we'll do today. So we got my hands propped. So now, as I kind of push and let my shoulders hike up and kind of let my ribs sag down. Maybe there's a little extra ventilating action there in the side ribs. So inhale through the side ribs, low ribs, down to the hip sockets. And we'll do a swift exhale out the mouth as we prepare for Agnisara. So Agnisara, draw the belly in and release. 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 And take some breath. So I'm going slow right now. We'll do 2 more rounds. And we'll just pace together round by round. And if you want to go faster with your flappings, flap freely. Inhale into the belly and the low ribs. Exhale everything out. And then you can draw in and release as patiently or as quickly as you care to. And of course, relax the belly when you need a breath, when you need a moment to reset. And this will be our 3rd round, our last round, Agnisara, as slowly or as quickly as you love. Last round, Agnisara. There we go. And again, I feel what the technique is offering or doing or moving. And does this improve the fidelity of my self map? Right. So I have the belief, or rather the experience, that just in mapping the body, the movements, the very, very subtle movements, that has the ability to take us into our psychological constructs, our energetic habits and patterns. So I just happen to use this inlet a lot. And then we'll heel toe our way out of there. And let's stand at the top of our mat. Inhale, we'll take arms overhead. And as the arms lift, the ribs lift. Exhaling, fold. Elongating quads, legs, allowing the spine to elongate down. Lunge, inhale, left foot back, knee down. Push the legs down. Draw the ribs up, the arms up. Set hands down. Now when we exhale the right foot back, and we're in plank, lengthen the legs back. So I kind of do that by reaching through the heels, lowering down. Cobra, inhale. Legs lengthen back. Chest lifts forward. Exhaling, lower, reset the hands under the chest. Downward dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Lunge. Hands to ground, exhaling, step the right foot forward. And as you're exhaling, as you're folding, continue exhaling. Exhale a little beyond your normal exhale window. Relaxing through the back of the neck. Inhale, stand, reaching the arms up. As the arms lift, the ribs lift, the legs lengthening downward. Exhaling, hands to heart. Do one more. Inhale. The legs move down, the tail moves down. Exhale, fold forward. Exhale thoroughly. Inhale the right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground, exhaling. Step back. And as we move from plank, send those heels back. Feel the legs reaching away from the head as we lower belly to earth. Set hands forward. Inhale, legs reaching back, heart lifts forward, cobra. There we go. Exhale, lower, reset hands, downward dog. Feel the bottom tips of the blades shifting, broadening apart from one another, the middle parts. Feel breath in between your two shoulder blades, which is breath in the back of the heart, in the middle back. Inhaling, step the right foot forward, lunge. And hands to ground, exhaling, step the left foot forward, folding. Exhale thoroughly. So drawing the belly muscles in, allowing the back of the neck to soften. And inhale, arrive at standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. So let's pause here. Just wanted to get some global lubrication. We'll find a section of wall, and I want you to choose what you feel best about downward dog on the wall or handstand. Okay, so of course, handstand, you need to have that additional skill of kicking up or a really perfectly placed set of walls. So handstanders, if you are kicking up, just get within an inch or maybe 2 of the wall. So you're really quite close if you're using a wall. Downward dog at the wall, folks. Set up your downward dog. Feel that the chest muscles can indeed engage. And then stepping feet up, 1 foot, 2 foot, hip height. And with each of these moves, weight bearing through the hands. Let those hands act muscularly. We're from 4 to 8 breaths will do us nicely. And take your time. If you want a couple tries, do a couple tries. If you're adding variations, perfect. There you go. All right. Cool. You handstanders are getting a lot of great support from the front and the back of your body. So cool. Very cool. We'll move back to our mat. I may have said it sometime in passing, but the arms overhead position, what a simple and brilliant and wonderful thing to maintain for ourselves for years to come. Just this action of being able to straighten, reach, outreach through the arms and overhead. So valuable, so important to the shoulders, the back, the neck. All right, so here we are at the top of our mat again. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms overhead. And go ahead, stretch them up. They're energized. They've got a little juice in them. Send those arms up. Lift those arms up. Press those arms up. Exhale, fold. Here too, you can send those arms down, pressing those palms down. Monkey. Inhale, push the ground if your hands are on the ground. Move the chest away from the lap. The shoulders glide down. Upper back spreads. And then exhaling, step back. If you're feeling light and floaty, float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. And we'll give this a few extra breaths, just kind of marinate in this arms overhead position. It's really a beautiful and it's a liberating pose. So part of what I think is so special about arms overhead, so you can start to relieve those compressive forces in the upper back and the neck. So let's help ourselves out. Strong legs lifting the sit bones back start to take some of those compressive forces off the upper spine. Feel for that. Don't believe me, but feel how that weight transfers in your body. Feel how that load gets redistributed in your body. We're teaching ourselves to redistribute physical loads, but we're also teaching ourselves the redistribution of energetic loads or energetic compartmentalization. Again, how we isolate, how we interconnect our body can take us into our psychological constructs, our emotional preferences. Inhale, step the right foot forward, warrior one. Again, I'll stretch those arms overhead. I once worked or knew an incredible baker who I walked the floor with them, and they took a loaf of bread and they just cut right into it and looked at it and knew that the humidity in the room was 1, 2, or 3% off that day. And so that story, we have the skill of looking into the structure and seeing what processes have occurred, and to great exactitude, like very exacting degrees. We can look into bodily structure. We can feel and know just exactly and precisely how and when we wound that way or contracted in these other ways and places. Relax those arms down. We're setting up for ostrich. So interlace hands behind back. Now, little detail here, optional detail. As I'm interlacing my hands, my biceps, I'm somewhat rolling them back. So when I grab my hands, I'm slightly, I know some of you got the fancy terms, the internally rotate. I'm slightly rolling my biceps back for fun, for that fun stretch. Inhaling into the ribs, the front of the collar. All these wonderful kind of networks of lymph around the sternum and the armpit and the breast tissue and the neck. And then exhaling, soften the neck, folding forward. Now, I like the deep stance. I love the deep stance. If for nothing else, there's enormous lymph structure in the hips, too. So go deep. Every time we're stretching, we're breathing, the fluids move. We're helping clear, we're facilitating all of that fluid movement of the body. That way our organs can start to catch up and go, oh yeah, that little bit of baggage from there, I need to take care of that today. So little by little, so we don't overload our organs with process. It's really important that process goes at a correct and organic rate. A rate of renewal, a rate of healing. Right, inhale, bring the hands down to the sacrum, release, set them to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And I'm pulling, exerting a pulling action. So my mid-spine, my chest start to move forward. Exhaling, downward dog. And once again, we'll give some respect and time to downward dog, allowing the head and the brain to relax down. Strongly reaching out through those arms. You may even start to get a little stretch through those armpit structures. Great. Feel for breathing in and through those armpit structures. So I'm going to just keep harping on and loving on this overhead position, right? This is a major clearinghouse area. When the brain is done with stuff, it starts to move down toward the tops of the lungs. Our veins are returning stuff back to the lungs, back to the heart. Everything's moving back to heart or trying to move back to heart. And as we activate our arms, it just helps facilitate that turnover and that motion of blood and lymph. And if this area is congested, our junk stays congested. All right, here's our warrior one. Inhale, left foot forward. Interlacing for ostrich, when I connect the in-betweens of my fingers, I can intone Rotating my upper arms as if biceps backward. On exhale, hinge. If you've got a deep stance, enjoy a deep stance. And inhale, bring hands down to sacrum, release hands, set them down to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Heels reach back, legs lengthen back. Inhale, upward dog. You always have that option of cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. And now feel for that rotating, gliding quality of the arm bones and the shoulder sockets. Inhale, step the right foot forward. We're turning into a broad stance for flank stretch. So taking a wide, neutral or symmetric stance rather, 3.5 feet wide. And right hand will grab the outer edge of left ankle or left calf. So it's right hand, left leg. So while this is a fold primarily, I reach over, becomes a side bend. If it feels too twisty, just work the hand higher. Relaxing through the neck and the bridge of the nose. We're going to get all jazzed about moving and facilitating the fluids in our body and from our head, and feeling that area between the eyes, the bridge of the nose, a major nerve and a major vessel are taking blood and signal and fluids toward and away from the sinus area, the eye area, right up the cheek, right by the nose, and right into that sinus and eye area. Might even be fun to practice feeling the face relax. And just how relaxing and releasing allows fluids to conduct their work. Release. Inhale, walk the hands centrally. And now we turn this into a warrior two. Right foot turns to the right. Adjust left accordingly. And then right hand on right thigh. I'm just pressing myself up nice and easily. Inhale, reaching arms out to the side. And reverse warrior, exhaling the left hand down, the right arm up. Now, if you feel any jammed up in the hips, it's really nice. We can just remain upright. There's a lot of side reach we can get with barely any bending. So just always know we can attenuate. So wonderful when we can rely on just simple biological knowledge, like just knowing our fluids are intelligent, if they can move, they know what to do. And so how do I facilitate? How do I work on their behalf? And it turns out I need a lot less effort, a lot less cajoling. There's a lot less resistance when I work for them. Right, inhale, take that right arm up, over, triangle, straighten the right leg. Now I adjust my feet. I like a little shorter stance. Exhaling, right arm reach forward, right ribs lengthen forward, and you set that right hand down on shin or blocks. If it feels miserable, adjust it. Hard work's great, misery is not necessary. Now, there were a few of us who were in triangles some days ago. Your right kneecap. Okay, so as I engage my right quadricep, I can, in a sense, help that kneecap to look out over the toes, which is different than if my kneecap just kind of rolls and, quote unquote, looks in over the infoot. I'm pretending my kneecap has an eyeball. And I'm actually delivering a lot of pressure down through that right hand to lengthen the right side ribs. Good. And then to release, bend the right knee. Inhale. Heel toe your left foot forward. We're moving into a standing twist, or standing alternate twist. Heel toe that left foot all the way to the right for an easy stand. Right hand, grab inner right foot. The left hand reaches away from the right hand. This is my right foot I have in the air with my right hand. Now, some of you working to kind of construct more stability around the sacrum, you may have to imagine your left hip is moving toward your right foot. It's a subtle move that will help you prevent additional twisting in the sacrum and the low back. It's nice to know. So if I needed to construct, again, more security or stability around my sacrum, I just imagine my left hip is magnetically being pulled to my right foot, even though I'm reaching my left hand back. Inhale, bend that right knee, set foot down. Exhaling, step the left foot back, hands on ground, and we're setting up head to ankle, which could be one, hands under shoulders, relaxing the head and the neck. Or two can mean kind of invoking a little more structural stretch. So if you want to tuck the right arm under the right leg, go for it. And release. Inhale, bring the hands around the right foot. Exhaling, chaturanga. Heels reach back, legs lengthen back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Sometimes as we get our bodies moving, our fluids moving, our organs start functioning differently or better, it's not uncommon to get little, I'm going to use my own phrase here, like little whiffs of vague memories, like little whiffs of history, little whiffs of historical bodily references. Just keep breathing, allow those little vague breezes of information to simply continue through and on their path. Inhale, let's step the left foot forward. We'll take a broad symmetric stance for flank stretch. Folding, exhale, the left hand latches onto the right ankle or leg. Some of you working with sacral stuff, it might be beneficial to focus some more pressure into the inner forefoot, almost to the degree that the heel, I don't want to say lifts up, but the heel is lighter in load and weight distribution. Just activating those calves a little bit may be protective in nature. Release. Inhale. Walk hands centrally. Turn left foot left. Adjust right foot accordingly as we prepare for a reverse warrior or warrior two stance. I'm going left hand to left thigh so I can meander up here. And then exhaling, we'll go right hand to right thigh, left arm lifts. You can bend right, you can lift and lengthen the left side. They're all address the side. And just an anecdote of these kind of whiffs of pattern, memory, fluid, right? You know, it's not uncommon, like I've known folks who have been in car accidents who for long periods of time can feel a compressive force, like a compressive, like it's compressive, they release, it compresses, they release again and again. And they're just kind of working the shock of having braced in a very particular way, having braced turned during a moment of impact. So these things can work themselves out over time. These things can work themselves out spontaneously. We wake up and poof, something seems to be missing. Inhale, take that left arm up, over, and we straighten the left leg for triangle. Exhaling, reach through left hand, reach through left side ribs. Now, a singular event is very easy to imagine, but let's also consider those more long-term events, in a way, the body doesn't really know time. So we're interfacing with, whomever isn't free and fluid to move. Right? We may be interfacing and doing triangle with our 19-year-old mind in here, a 9-year-old mind. They're all here. They're all here. Deepen breath, just so we don't get too thinky about it. It's keeping it fluid. Keep that breath fluid, keep that breath moving. Bend that left knee, inhale. Heel toe the right foot next to the left. Heel toe. So it's an easy course to standing. And here's that standing alternate twist. I go left hand, left foot. Straightening left foot forward. Reaching right hand away from left hand. Again, same with the low back. If you're constructing a little more protection. So imagine your right hip is moving or connected to your left foot, just slightly. It's just a little move to... And for this pose, my left foot is moving out in the direction my right toes are facing. I know there's a inclination to swing that left leg out to the left. It's a different pose. It's a great pose. But if my right toes are facing this way, my left leg is reaching that way. And that's a different pose on those quads and thighs. All right, bend that left knee, inhale, we'll set it down. Set the right foot back, and here's our head to ankle. I'm just starting by going hands under shoulders. Simple as that. If you want to go arm behind leg, go for it. Just letting breath be fluid. And to me, this is just, again, my inner personal experience, but when I'm moving back into feeling and sensating and the sensory world, which is the pre-linguistic world, I hear, inner hear, less and less talk, words. So there's less inner languaging, there's less inner talk, inner chit-chat. And then when we release, inhale, we'll go hands around that left foot. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, gently set the knees down. Time flies when we're doing constructive things. Let's lie back and create some rest moment so that we can hold all of this work in a little bit better perspective. By better, I mean the doing in and alongside the non-doing. So when you select your rest position, your Shavasana, let's allow ourselves to simply relax and release our poses, our processes. In a sense, forget everything we just did. And this type of forgetting is deeply compassionate. And in these few quiescent moments, can we trust the organic, evolutionary processes that we are engaging simply by showing up on our mat, showing up as a sacred community of practitioners? By the sincere desire to do well by ourselves and by others. There's a deep unfolding, and we may be experiencing just one lap of a wave of that ocean of unfolding. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and press up, always knowing you can remain in Shavasana as long as you please. How wonderful to be with you all. Thanks all. Namaste.